Let's celebrate the River Day today. Rivers are the lifelines of people, so we need to keep our rivers as much as possible in the natural state and also keep them clean. If we look at our region, the Hindu Kush Himalayan region, where India is part, is also known as the third pole. And why it is called third pole? Apart from the two poles, in this region we find the most frozen water in forms of snow, ice, permafrost, and also the glacial lakes, which are found in high altitude areas. And there are many rivers originating from this region. And if we look broadly, big rivers, there are 10 major rivers. And if we look at the Indian subcontinent here down in the south, then Indus, Brahmaputra, and Ganga are the most important ones. So people in the Hindu Kush Himalayan region are around 240 million people. But because of the rivers and the water which is coming from the mountains and going in the river basins downstairs, nearly 2 billion people are impacted. So our rivers are very important and critical in terms of how our lives would be in this region. From the Indian Himalayan region alone, many rivers and tributaries originate, and most of these rivers are transboundary. Sometimes India is in the downstream and sometimes India is in the upstream. The river originates from one country and go to other countries. So therefore, the rivers have been taken care by all the countries in this region. The climate change is happening, and we have seen the temperature rise is very fast. We have seen many new glacial lakes are formed. Have also seen the rate of rise of temperature is faster in higher elevations. So many lakes, they are also at risk. Glacial lake outburst floods we have seen. But on the other hand, the water which is coming from the mountains very much in this region actually is used for irrigation, it is used for drinking, it is used for many things, for industries in the downstream. So large number of people are dependent, especially the rivers which are originating from the Himalaya. When they come down to the downstream basins, then we see in this region, this is the most irrigated region in the world. So the food which is produced from this region is vital, very critical. Nearly 3 to 4 billion people. Food security is impacted by this. Now, if we are not taking care of these rivers, the food security will be impacted, not only in India, not only in this region, for the entire Asia and beyond. So in this context, I think our food and water is very important. We know the nexus between food, energy, and water. So energy is also very critical, and from many rivers from the Himalayan region, the hydropowers are there, energy is generated, and we have to see small is beautiful. Let's have hydropower dams or smaller ones in the Himalayan region so that they don't pose risks in the downstream. We have to understand, when we talk about water, talk about river, the energy is equally important. The irrigation and the food that is produced is important. From my point of view, what is important, we have to see how the water is coming down in different river basins. So just to compare 3 river basins, the Indus, Ganga, and Brahmaputra. If we look at, there are 3 sources of water. One is glacial fade, means after melting of snow and glacier. Another one is water, which is rainfall, which is stored in mountain areas like mountain forest and all those areas. And the third thing is underground water, water table, the water which is actually falling or having precipitation in the plain areas in the river basin. So these are the 3 sources. And if we look at the Indus basin, the most of the water is coming from the glacier melting. So if the glaciers are lost in the Indian basin, food security and other issues of floods related to glaciers, there are more risk in the western part. In the Ganga region, then we have more water actually coming from the mountain watersheds. Secondly, from the groundwater and water in the Tarai and that region. And the least is coming from the glaciers. And in Brahmaputra, there is a little bit more glacier water fed as compared to Ganga, but there also we see the water equally important, the water coming from the mountains and water coming from underground water. And water table is very important in that context to keep the water table up in Ganga Basin as well as Brahmaputra Basin. So let's pledge today that we will work for the rivers. Rivers are very critical, important for our safety, for our food security, for our life. 70% of our body mass is water. So you can imagine how important it is to have good water. Most of the diseases which we get in the changing season, they are because of water. So we need to keep our water clean. Water pollution is a big problem. So let's also pledge that we will, from our individually, institutionally, we will try to make our water, our rivers clean and pollution free as much as possible. So from my side, best wishes to all of you on this very important day. River, which is having mostly water, but it is also having many biodiversity, many life, many cultures are linked with river. If we keep the rivers intact, then cultures, the societies, the environment, everything will remain intact, and this will help in sustainable development. Best of luck to all of you. Thank you very much.